The 2015 Progress Seminar invited people of San Mateo County from local business, government, and community leaders to take a weekend retreat for networking, brainstorming, and meeting on community issues. In between the two keynote seminars and various breakout sessions, Peninsula TV's Mark Simon got a chance to get the inside scoop with the Progress Seminar attendees. And now conversations with Mark Simon at the 2015 Progress Seminar.
This is Roseanne Faust, President and CEO of SAMCETA and co-chair of the Progress Seminar. It's a huge turnout. Tell me why you think that is.
I think the Progress Seminar builds on itself. I think people who have been here in the past are our greatest advocates. They talk to colleagues, other elected officials, and say, this is where you need to be to find out the issues facing San Mateo County.
One of the things you hear people say over and over again is we come down here every year, we seem to address the same set of issues, and nothing gets solved. I assume you don't think that's the case.
I don't think that's the case because I think the dialogue is what starts here. But we have seen time and time again, the relationships are built here. The dialogue continues outside of the walls of Monterey, back in San Mateo County, and things do happen because we do work together. We work together on transportation, we work together on housing, we work together on water. We create relationships here, and things do happen. When people say that they don't, I usually ask them, I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? And most of the time, there's not a very good answer.
What do you think is maybe the most pressing issue as we meet at this seminar this time?
I think the water breakout and the interactive panel, we're hoping that we're going to have some creative, innovative ideas on how to address it. We know that there's many, many bright people working on the issue, and here's an opportunity for people to get engaged in the business community, as elected officials, as nonprofit and educators, and really get down into the water and what do we do.
We're here with Supervisor Adrienne Tissier. How many years have you been coming to the Progress Seminar?
Oh, lots. Now you're dating me, so don't go there.
What do you think is important about this event?
Well, what I think first of all, in our county, there's always a lot of collaboration, and I think the networking here is probably the most important part of the Progress Seminar.
People sometimes say we come down here every year, talk about the same problems, and nothing gets solved. I assume you have a better view of it than that.
I call it an oxymoron. There's no progress at the Progress Seminar. But there really is, though. I think part of it, you start talking about subject matters that are really important, that are on the forefront. You can't solve them all here. That's why we kind of joke about it. But they all get worked on as we go back to the county.
What do you think is maybe the most critical issue, the most pressing issue facing the county at this particular time?
Gosh, there's lots of them. First off, transportation and housing. I think those are the major ones because we're having a hard time keeping people here to be able to work here because the cost of housing is so high. And the same with transportation. There's just not enough money for transportation, and we really need to work with the state and the feds to get more and more. Otherwise, we're going to be choking up our freeways.
We're here with Maureen Frechette, who's the mayor of the city of San Mateo. What session were you just in, and what did you hear that really struck you?
I was in a session on water conservation, but it was really more of a roundtable session. We had numerous tables, and people talked about, we played a game. And the game was designed to help people learn how to collaborate and kind of gauge where people are in the process of looking at water. So we started out with some fun things where you were trying to figure out somebody's, what kind of foods they like. But then we moved to the harder issues, looking at what are the priorities for water in the state. And so one person would be they called him a VIP, and other people at the table would guess what you would rank. And then you talk about why you rank certain things a certain way. So it kind of gave insight where people are, which is pretty much all over the board.
What was your main takeaway from that?
That I think
we're screwed.
I think people need more information. They need to understand what the issues really are, and they need to understand how we work together as a community to decide what are the important issues, because they're all over the place. And it was interesting seeing that you would rank things the way you thought the other person would, and we found we really didn't have a great idea about what the priorities are. So I think it's playing a game like that helps people relax, but also you get that insight into what they're thinking.
Nicholas Calderon, aide to Don Horsley, an up-and-coming political figure in the county. What session were you in, and what was your main takeaway from it? I
was just in the water session, and I think the biggest takeaway is that everyone has different concerns about this drought, but everyone's equally concerned about it. And there's really going to be no easy answer and no quick fix. But fortunately, everyone identifies it as a major issue, so we're all going to be in it together.
It's Ron Galatolo, Chancellor of the San Mateo County Community College District. I love the title, Chancellor.
I know.
Yeah.
Like you said, Emperor was taken.
What session were you in, and what was your main takeaway from it?
It was on transportation, and obviously there are a lot of issues in that corridor. You talk about the 48 miles between San Francisco and San Jose, an incredibly productive corridor for the economic infrastructure of San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, and obviously San Francisco. And they really need to resolve these issues. I mean, you understand the gridlock right there at 92 and 101 is amazing. At 85 and 101 is incredible, trying to get into the city. So really, this is an issue that needs to be addressed.
Any single thing jump out? They thought, okay, yeah, that's something we could do?
Well, I think the most difficult thing they're really going to have to deal with is the CEQA issue. The environmental review is really going to be a difficult process. I think it's going to be probably the most impactful thing that they're going to have to deal with. As you go through and you look at alternatives like, electrifying rail or even a ferry system coming into the bay, it's really going to be a problem getting through the environmental process.
We're with Supervisor Warren Slocum. What session were you just in, and what was your main takeaway from it?
Okay, I was in the housing session, creating affordable housing in San Mateo County, and the main takeaway was the alignment of all sectors to help solve this problem. That is the nonprofit sector, the business sector, and the government sector. That's the way the problem is going to get solved.
Is there a solution to that problem? I mean, with the housing costs and the lack of stock?
The consensus of the group was there's no short-term solution, but rather we need to take the long view.
That sounds like the right way to go. Thank you, Warren.
Thanks, Mark.
Daly City Councilman Mike Gingoni, you probably don't mind if I mention you're also running for the Board of Supervisors?
No, not at all. Yeah. Thanks.
What session were you just in, and what was your main takeaway?
I just finished with the retail section. A lot of great things happening in Hillsdale Mall. I had to give them a little bit of perspective of what we're doing in Serramonte up the north end.
So what is the state of retail? I mean, was that sort of the question they were trying to answer?
Yeah, they were trying to see how we could actually get out and get things moving. I told them a little bit about the community involvement that we do in Daly City. Our city council works with the owners of Serramonte to actually do community engagement, like our farmers market, like bringing our food trucks out for off the grid, and bring community events to the mall. So, I'm just trying to give them a little bit of perspective of what we do in the north.
Sort of use Serramonte as a town hall, so it's a town center, really, isn't it?
Well, Daly City doesn't really have a downtown. We have Mission Street, but for many, many years, the place that the community congregated was in an air-conditioned, nice mall, and that's where we've been for many, many years.
We're with Wayne Lee, Millbrae City Council. What session were you just in, and what was your main takeaway from it?
Hi, Mark. Thanks for inviting me to this talk. I went to the retail development. It was very good. We learned about the trends and what we need to consider as cities, and that we figured out that each city has different neighborhoods, and each neighborhood has a special, unique attraction. So far, I really appreciate this conference, and thank you for helping to make this successful.
Thank you, Wayne. We're here with Daly City Councilwoman Judith Christensen, back for a return engagement. A return bout, maybe, is a better way of putting it.
Yes.
What session were you just in, and what sort of things really caught your attention in it?
Well, I was in session A, and the important things they talked about there were income disparity and how Santa Clara County's been raising the minimum wage, talking about affordable housing, and how part of the problem is the jobs are not where the housing is, and how we can put people to work in neighborhoods where they live and the other way around. And part of the problem was a lot of people in the group were talking about how communities are being damaged by gentrification and displacement, and how we can maintain that sense of community, preserve our families who've lived here for generations, and still invite new people to come in. Everyone was hopeful about the county-wide task force that Carol Groom talked about that would be focusing on housing. So I think everyone in the room was looking forward to that.
We're here with Sean Brooks of Economic Development Manager for the City of Redwood City. What session have you just been in, and what was your main takeaway from it?
The first session I went to was the one concerning housing and bridging the gap, or moving the needle. And so the takeaway is that there has to be a regional solution. Obviously, this is not something that can be done in an envelope or by one individual. And so there's regional collaboration within San Mateo County. And I think at the end of the day, we'll get to a solution overall for everyone.
Something like income inequality is such a massive issue. Do you think there is a solution?
Personally, there's a variety of solutions and things to really look at. I haven't looked at it enough to really say, this is a silver bullet to do so. But obviously, we have to have jobs that provide a living wage, and there has to be enough housing units to support, wage earners at all different income levels.
For more video on the 2015 Progress Seminar, go to www.penntv.tv/videos/specials/Progress Seminar.